Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This here is the Christian Trucker. I just figured I'd make y'all a video of some of the things that I've been doing with a little bit of extra time off. We broke out the old tillers and had to take them to get them repaired. Spent about $100 trying to get them repaired. And we went to work there. This used to be my old dog pen where I had my big white dog Axel. We decided we were going to turn it into a garden spot, especially with all the stuff going on and, you know, grocery stores being so crazy. We figured we would plant us some vegetables. And I'm pointing out the rows right now. The only plants that I bought was the tomato bushes right there. Everything else we planted from seed, you know, so. But we figured we would have this, let's just say for a backup plan, to have some extra groceries on the hill, some fresh vegetables. And it was really enjoyable, me and my son getting out there and working in the dirt. It just does something good for you when you get in the dirt and you get dirt under your fingers. It's just a great feeling. Now, see this old gate right here? We wanted to fence it in all together because we have a couple of dogs around the place and they go in and they'll break down your plants and all. So this is not made to really keep out something that's really wanting to get in. It's just made to keep the dogs out. I finally got my tomatoes staked up. You see the stakes on the tomatoes there? Now that's cucumbers over there by the dog pen so it can run on the dog fence. Them tomatoes are looking pretty, ain't they? We've got some blooms already on a couple of them. See, there's another little cucumber plant, and them tomatoes. It didn't take me 5 minutes to cut them stakes and then get them. Look at that bloom. That's a future mater. See that cucumber? Just wait till you see the squash here in a minute. It's going to be pretty. Yep, see, cucumber. I got my cucumbers a little close to my squash, so that could be a problem. There's another little bloom, see? See them big old squash plants? Man, there's something about that dirt that them squash just love. I got some crooked necks and some straight necks. That there is some okra. I got 2 rows of okra planted. One is a spineless, and one is some that my grandpa-in-law had drying the seeds, and we planted those. So we're going to see. I was wondering if they were even going to start coming up. I've got a couple that were washed off of the seed row, and we're going to have to move them back on the sweet seed row. My pepper seeds never came up, so I've got to go buy me some pepper plants. Next year, I do intend on getting me some pepper seeds and starting my seeds indoors before it's time to plant. Now what I'm showing you right now is the watermelons. We got 5 watermelon plants. There's another one. I'm going to have to move it onto the row up a little bit. But yeah, we managed to get 5 watermelon seeds come up. And there's those little icebox watermelons. My little boy is so excited about those. He likes a good cold watermelon, but we got it fenced all the way in, and mostly what I used on the outside was just some old fence panels and some T-posts. They're not really heavily secured, but it's enough to create a boundary to keep the doggies from coming in and tearing up our plants. We got to have our plants, you know. And this little chicken wire that I use is just something that I had over by the rabbit pen when we used to have rabbits. Just to make a makeshift gate. That little post there, that little green post, has some little clips to where you can just slide it on and it'll hold it. That, you know, we did it for low cost. All this stuff was salvaged and reused from other projects. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Now this next video the other day, and we were talking about prepping and things that need to be done if you had some property to prepare in case this society did collapse. Well, in my hand is some of the things that you can do to prepare. This is last year's pecan and some blackberries and some blueberries that ain't quite ripe yet. Some honeysuckle, and you'll be kind enough to look right there. It's pears. They'll be coming in before long, and this tree is pretty loaded. We got a whole bunch of them coming. and I really look forward to this year's harvest. But something like this you can plant on your property and pretty much leave them alone. I mean, you need to prune them and keep things away from them. We've kind of neglected around our pecan trees, and our blueberry bushes need to be pruned and stuff, but these are items that you can plant on your property, and you can kind of forget about them and let them grow until you need them. So let's say if you had 10 acres out in the woods, you could have a food source on your property, and it'll always be there if you need it. It grows back every year. Those blackberries come back every year. These blueberries, that honeysuckle. Honeysuckle's not really going to fill you up, but it does give a little sweet nectar. And sometimes you want something sweet. And pecans are pretty cool. See, I've been trimming up on this pear tree, and she's got quite a few pears. The other thing you would want on your property is a nice little pond. You can stock enough stuff in a pond and harvest it all through the year. Bass, brim, catfish, all of that kind of stuff. And like I say, it's something that you can have out there, and you don't have to really maintain it unless you want them to. But it's important to have a food source in line if things were to go south and you couldn't get to the grocery store, or they got stay-at-home orders or whatever, you know. Living out in the country, this is some of the stuff that we're able to do to keep ourselves healthy and active. You know, even when the society collapses, like the old song says, a country boy can survive. But right now, nowadays, a lot of country boys don't know anything about this. I mean, they know about big trucks and acting crazy, but they don't know nothing about actually getting out and finding their food, catching their food. I don't even have to go to the bait shop. I know how to dig for worms. I know how to catch crickets. And I can catch a lot of fish in that pond right there to keep my family fed. But on top of that, my dad lives on the river, and we got plenty of places to catch plenty of fish. So I was just wanting to touch on this, and I've talked a lot sometimes about owning your own house and the benefits of home ownership. When you own your property, and when you own your house, you have the deed in your hand. Nobody's going to be able to come and take it from you unless you sell it to them and sign that deed over. But out here, we have fish and everything. This is not my property. This is my in-laws' property. But they say I can use it as I want. So right now I'm trying to get our orchard back in shape and make sure that I can catch the fish and make sure we still have fish in there. And there are some nice brim and bass in this pond. We need some catfish in there, but I haven't had time to stock it. But not to mention, it's a great place just to come and chill out and enjoy nature. God's beauty, His nature that He created. You know, so if you can, pay off your home, buy you some property, and on that property plant some pecan trees, plant some pear trees, some blueberry bushes, which are going to be back in that side. Build you a little pond. Before you purchase the property, make sure it will hold a pond, or maybe it has access to a river or a lake, or at least it'll hold water when you do dig the pond, you know. All these things are very beneficial, and they're not going to require a lot of maintenance. Now, if you want to get into the maintenance and to the daily work, you can get into your animals and your gardens. But these fruit trees and nut trees, they can really save your butt in a hard time. They come in at different times of the year. And if you practice good conservation, you can save some for long periods. Anyhow, that's what I was going to talk about today, because me and my friend, we were talking the other day. And I just wanted to convey how wonderful it is to know that you have a little bit of food for your family, even if the system shuts down and you can't go to town. So God bless, and I will catch you on the next ride. We had to rebuild that gate for my dog Bella's pen. The old one was rotting at the ground. It had ants all up in the middle of the post. There's where the concrete was on that first post. Had to dig all that out, and we put our 6x6 down in the ground, about almost 2 foot. And we put 4 nails on each side on the bottom, and then put the concrete around it. Those nails help that concrete adhere to that post. Because those posts, if you're not careful, can break loose from your concrete in the ground. I've had many of them do it in the past. But, you know, my post, if your post rots out from inside the concrete like that one did, you know, I used them old cheap landscape timbers from Lowe's the first time around, and they just didn't last. Just didn't last. But them 6x6s will, by golly. I sure didn't have the money back then to buy those 6x6. You know, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it right within reason. So that's why we went ahead and went with the 6x6s, because I do have a future plan that will involve those 6x6s. And y'all might see that in the future. But yeah, see how much concrete I had on that one little landscape timber? The post rotted out in the middle. Just, so annoying. I can't stand to go back and redo a job. I should have used metal posts. That would have been better, but the 6x6s look good, and I think the gate worked out really well, because I made me some new latches, and it just seems sturdier and it looks better to me. You know, because I can add like a birdhouse on top or anything on top to give it a little bit of decorative sense and fashion. But I'm going to eventually have to redo every post on that there dog yard. That's just part of the, you know, because those landscape timbers ride on. Now the one on my little dog's pen's got all them pretty roses, them pretty pink roses. That post is just hanging there. I mean, it's flopping. I think the rose bush is actually holding the fence up, keeping the dog in. That's just the way it goes. But yeah, that was a pretty good job there. I enjoyed doing that, and my little boy helped me a pretty good bit with that. And we got us a new lawnmower this year. This is the one before, and that's the one we just bought, the 110. We had a 105, now we got the 110. The 105, I sold that to my pa-in-law, and I got me the 110 because it's got the hydrostatic transmission. It just works a little better for us. God bless. Catch you on the next ride. Enjoy these flowers.